Ready or Not is directed by Matt Bettinelli Olphin and Tyler Gillett.
It stars Samara Weaving, Adam Brody, and Mark O'Brien.
Yeah, and two things to start off with. One, we're obviously not in our regular set, and that's because for some reason me and Marquez forgot to turn off the microphone after we filmed our The Boys review, and so it died. We just realized that right before we started filming this, so we decided to use our podcast microphones. And since we had this set up already, we didn't really want to move it over to our regular set, so we just decided to record it here. And two, Marquez isn't in this review, so we decided to invite our friend Liam.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
He'll talk about his stuff at the end of this video. But anyways, Ready or Not, it was definitely one of those movies that I was not that interested in seeing.
Yeah.
In all honesty, after watching the trailers, it kind of reminded me of not really like Truth or Dare, but kind of reminded me of that concept of like they just thought of a title and they thought of a game that people play a lot.
Thought of a tagline.
And they came up with a plot according to that. It kind of reminded me of that. So it didn't really interest me that much, but I know that you really want to see it. So we wanted to go see it, and it actually turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that there were some things that could have been better, like just some of like the dialogue and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But like, you know, this isn't a movie you go for dialogue, you go for like the kills.
Yeah.
And all the kills were pretty good.
Yeah, it was definitely an enjoyable movie. They did throw in a lot of humor in it, which I wasn't expecting too much. Well, I mean, I was kind of expecting, but I wasn't expecting so much. And at times, it didn't feel like it really was as funny as I thought they were being.
Yeah.
But it did add a little bit of a charm to the movie. Yeah. It did make it a little bit more enjoyable. And I'm kind of glad they didn't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Because the concept alone is kind of silly.
I think with this movie, they realized that this isn't going to be a serious movie that people are actually going to take super seriously.
Right.
So they had their fun with it, but then, you know, still kept in its integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think that, like, because there are some parts in the movie that are like pretty violent.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
And it's like pretty gruesome in some parts. So whenever like I was like kind of on the fence about like how gory it was getting, like they added some humor in there.
Right.
Like there's without spoiling it, there's a pretty gory scene in the shed.
Oh yeah.
Where I was like I think I usually have a pretty good stomach for like horror movie stuff, but like that part literally like made me cringe.
Right. Yeah.
But then like after that they cut to like a more goofier comedy scene. So like it was a good blend, I thought, for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. It never got like too silly. It never got too dark. It, like you said, it was a nice little blend.
It was kind of making fun of like super rich families and like their weird traditions.
Oh yeah.
They kind of like make fun of just like how people like just follow traditions even though they have no idea what they really mean.
Right. Yeah.
And so like that added like a interesting sort of element to like the whole like family relationships.
Yeah, and I do want to bring up the acting. The acting was actually really well throughout this movie, especially the lead girl, Samara Weaving, is that her name?
Who looks like Margot Robbie.
Yeah, she looks almost... when I first saw the trailers, I legit thought she was Margot Robbie the entire time I was watching the trailer. But I think she's like Hugo Weaving's niece or something like that. I think I heard. I mean, her last name is Weaving. I think I heard somewhere that she's his niece or something. But I haven't really seen her or anything else.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind seeing her more because she did really great. The lead guy, what was his name?
Mark O'Brien.
Mark O'Brien, yeah. Him and Adam Brody also did really well too.
Yeah, I thought Adam Brody was probably like my favorite character in the movie. Like I thought he had like a really interesting like story arc.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And like his character definitely like went through like probably the most change outside of obviously Grace, the lead character. And yeah, I thought Samara Weaving was great. I think she had like a really small role in 3 Billboards.
She did?
She played like the girlfriend of Frances McDormand's ex.
Oh, that was her?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is her.
I didn't know it was her until I like looked her up after the movie because I was like, I know I've seen her in something else.
Dang, she is completely different in that movie too.
Yeah, look like Margot Robbie there.
Man, I didn't even realize that. I know she was in some movie called The Babysitter, but I never saw that.
I thought all the family was like they all had like sort of fun roles. Like the guy, I don't know the guy's name. The guy who played Fitch. Like he definitely added like a lot of comedy, like especially the scene when he's like in the bathroom, like looking up the stuff.
Oh yeah, when he's trying to figure out how to work the crossbow. Yeah, they're all using medieval weapons and all that. I
was gonna say I also like the like Clue kind of theme that they had. Like obviously it's not Clue, and it was a lot more darker than Clue. Yeah, but they kind of had like those stereotypical characters like Clue does.
Yeah, but I do want to bring up a little bit of negatives I had, which I thought this movie was pretty entertaining. It was pretty great. Not great, but it was pretty good throughout. But I think it did kind of fall apart in like the last 5 minutes a little bit, especially with one character, which I won't go into spoilers. But one character, I feel like they made him do something that was just there just for the sake of having a twist.
Yeah.
And it completely ruined pretty much a lot of the story that they had built up throughout this whole movie.
Yeah. Like, it was trying so hard to like misdirect you, but it didn't, like, when you think about it, it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. It came out of nowhere.
And the problem is that they wanted to go for the twist, but literally they had a scene right before where this character said, "I would never do that."
Yeah.
And then he did it.
Yeah, literally like 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't really know how to talk about this without explaining too much, but I feel like there's something else that happened at the end that I felt like they kind of were going to go one direction, and I was liking that direction, but they went another direction. I still kind of liked it, but I feel like it would have been better if they kept going in that one direction they're going at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, like, none of like the family members were like super competent like assassins. Like it wasn't like something like John Wick where like everybody's an assassin. Like they haven't done this before.
Yeah, and it actually kind of added to like how she's able to survive and all that throughout these situations.
Yeah, because like at first I was like, how is she gonna survive this? She's gonna be dead in like 3 seconds because they all have weapons. It definitely added a lot of like slapstick comedy, which I thought was funny.
Right.
And they did work well with their setting. You know, it's all set in one house. But they make the house big enough where it is able to kind of escape. And they do have reasons why she can't escape.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just, it wasn't like that stupid horror girl in the movie that's like, why doesn't she just go out the door? Or why doesn't she just call 911?
Yeah, I was sort of thinking about it because I saw your shirt and I was like, this did kind of remind me of like the first 2 Evil Dead movies a little bit. Not necessarily in terms of like the supernatural stuff, but just like the idea of like it's all set in one location and like they keep like finding ways to keep all the characters like in that location. So, and I thought like the design of the house was like, it was cool.
Yeah, I honestly love the way the entire movie looked. Like the setting, the lighting, just the way the color palette looked, and just everything. Overall, it was a nice movie to just watch and to look at.
Yeah. Kind of looked like a good spooky haunted house sort of
thing. Yeah, because like it was like the lighting was really dimly lit, but it never seemed like it was like too dark.
Yeah,
they kept it like the right amount. And since you brought it up, I do want to like stand up and show you all this shirt. I'm actually pretty proud of this shirt, but I just got it, so and it's kind of sad that Spider-Man's not in the MCU anymore. So it's kind of fitting for me to wear right now.
A tragic day to wear it.
I also like the horror parts, like the jump scares. They didn't just use jump scares to have jump scares. Like they never overused them, and it was fit in perfectly with what the situation was whatever was going on.
Yeah, I'd say like my one other like major negative would be just like that there was like some shaky cam in some parts that was like a little bit distracting.
There was this one action scene where they used shaky cam a lot, and I couldn't really tell what was exactly happening.
Yeah, there were a few scenes that I think would have been better if they just sort of shot it like just the same way they shot like the establishing shots of the house. It was just kind of like creepy and eerie, but like that was like the only like major thing that bothered me about like the horror elements. This
movie did kind of remind me of Get Out a little bit.
Yeah.
Just like the premise kind of. I mean, it didn't have the racial undertones that Get Out had, but just from a story standpoint, it kind of reminded me a lot of Get Out.
Yeah. Sort of this is more like a allegory to like wealthy people
and
like being inducted into like a new family and stuff.
Right. Yeah, so guys, this was a movie that was definitely pretty surprising. I'd heard about that it was pretty good, but I didn't really know what to expect going into it, especially since I didn't really have that much expectations just from myself after watching the trailers. But it did turn out to be pretty enjoyable. It's definitely a movie that I do recommend watching because it is a fun time to watch. There are some pretty fun scenes, fun death scenes, for some good suspense and some good comedy as well. This is a little mixed bag of a little bit of everything in this movie. I'm going to say that Ready or Die. I'm going to say that Ready or Not is 74% awesome.
Yeah, I'd say this is definitely like a good movie to watch like with an audience, because it's like this is the sort of movie you want to see like with a crowd, because like our crowd was like reacting to like the scares and some of like the comedy and stuff. Like it's a good movie to watch like with that sort of crowds. I guess I had a little bit of an issue with some of the character stuff, but for the most part, it was really entertaining. So I will say that Ready or Not is 65% awesome.
I really liked how this movie blended the horror and the comedy. like you said, some of the comedy didn't land, but they did, the whole time I was in suspense. And when most of the jokes I laughed at, it was pretty funny. The characters, they did really well, except for the last 5 minutes. But overall, it was a good movie, and I highly recommend anybody go watch it. I think anybody will have a good time. Horror fans or non-horror fans. I'm going to say that Ready or Not is 70% awesome.
Well, like we said at the beginning of the video, we have our friend Liam in this video, and I'll go ahead and let him talk about some of the stuff that he's into.
Yeah, well, thanks again for having me on. This is a lot of fun going to see this. I have a blog, liammgahan.wordpress.com. I've been just doing written movie reviews for about 6 years or so.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the description to that website. And like always, just go ahead and comment below. And if you've seen Ready or Not, let us know what you thought of the movie, whether you liked it or not. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at 2AwesomeMen. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and you will see us later. I almost forgot to do that.